Okay, welcome to the Shpiel with Gavriel, starring Yehuda and Matthew. Okay?
Hello.
And it's not pronounced Gavriel, even though it would make better sense in the title, but it's Gavriel. So I'm Gavriel, and that's Yehuda. Say hi, Yehuda. But like still with the pronunciation of my name, right? It's Gavriel, right? So it's not Gavriel, right? So like if it was Gavriel, then it would sound better. But at the same time, it's Gavriel, right? So it's not Gavriel, right? So like if it was Gavriel, then it would sound better. But at the same time, it's Gavriel.
I'm pretty sure your stage name is Gavriel, but we could work that out in the contract later. It was like in the fine print that you have to legally change your name for this podcast.
I'll have to take a look at that. So in the picture for our podcast, right? Matthew is on the left. I'm in the middle, with my face. That's a much it's much more narrow.
Who
now.
drew the podcast?
It's much more narrow.
Who drew the podcast? Who drew the podcast picture?
Hold on. And on the right is the person who drew the podcast with very, 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 very skillful. Who he did it very skillfully.
Looks like a handsome fellow.
Matthew Seiger.
No.
Oh, okay.
Try again. Sorry.
You had two more guesses.
Yeah.
Gavriel Haviv?
It's Gavriel. But no.
Okay. No, it's not Gavriel.
It is Gavriel. It is Gavriel.
No, Gavriel did not make the picture.
Oh. I was with a bunch of people, and we were all given, like $5 to get a little something from the supermarket. One person, got person, oh, I'm going to get a soda. So, gets like a Coca-Cola, woo. Another person comes, hey, gets a Hershey's bar, maybe a 3-pack of Hershey's. So my mom gives me $5, and I come back with a 12-pack of those giant, really unhealthy cookies from the Ralphs.
How big?
What types of cookies?
The size of my head.
What types of cookies?
Oh, you know those fat ones with like the blue frosting and like the sprinkles on top, rainbow sprinkles.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Those ones. So
I
go.
A cookie?
I told you really cool. And I had like 12 cookies that are like each like half the size of my head. It's like when you go to 7-Eleven and you got one of those big, giant, huge gulps. I'm it says refilling more than 32 ounces is only $1.50. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I whip out this giant cup. It's 100 ounces and bigger than my entire head, and like takes 3 hours to finish. And I'm like, so I can fill this up.
We're not doing that.
May I just say, Matthew, you're using your head very frequently as like a measuring tool. Yeah. As like a relative device, it's half as big as my head. This one was as big as my head. I want to know exactly how big your head is in comparison to the European meters.
So I would say my head is approximately 3 meters big.
3 meters big.
Yeah. It's a slightly small head. Some people like to tell me it's big. I like to think it's small.
And my second question is, how big is your head in comparison to football fields? Because that's my main use of measurement.
I'd say it's maybe a 30th. Football field. They're a little bigger than my head.
Matthew, can I ask you how big is a football field? Well, at the end of the day, listen up, both of you, and everyone else who's going to be listening, right?
And everyone else who's not going to be a listener as well should listen up. But let's not discriminate here.
Sorry.
Based on taste.
Just think about 3 words always, right? It's Gavriel.
I actually have a question for the Mets fan in the room.
That's me.
My question is, what do you think about how the Mets actively promote violence by making their mascot a baseball, and you're supposed to hit baseball with bats? This promotes violence.
No. First off, my first answer to you is I don't know how you derived violence, a very serious topic, from this. But my answer to you is that I think that if you think about baseball, right?
I have never thought about baseball before.
Right? If anybody thinks of Mr. Met and be like, oh, I need to hit the ball. You know what I mean? I need to hit Mr. Met on the head because he's a ball.
I do. No, whenever I see him, I just want to beat him up.
Right, but you don't, though.
I get filled with an unbridled rage. The Mets, they look at their mascot and they're like, I need to hit a baseball really badly. And then, that's why. And then they get, that's what gives them the motivation. And then, they lose anyway, but that's just a coincidence.
They don't lose anyway.
I think it's a metaphor because, like, it's supposed to be, how some people, society just wants to beat them down and push them down. And, eventually
it's all good.
They'll get back up and they'll make it. They'll finally make it. It's the American dream. So they're that baseball. They get hit by, like, literally everyone, and eventually they're a home run.
Okay, all right.
That's beautiful.
We're gonna.
That's beautiful. It's inspiring.
We're gonna.
Let me tell you. Let me take you back as Gavriel, kind of spilled a little bit of my life story to the general public, revealed some things that I'd rather keep private.
I just want to be clear. My name is still Gavriel, not Gavriel. Okay.
Okay, you're not an authority on your own name. Sorry. Like it took. I'm sorry. Like people were calling you that while you were still a baby and you couldn't even speak. Like you were one of the last people to say your name.
But my parents were like, you know what I mean? It's not Gavriel.
I hear that.
So,
but we can agree to disagree. I was, as Gavriel told the whole world just now, and it's been brought to the public. I had a fan club in high school. They weren't a big deal, but I mean, having any fan club in high school dedicated to you is like it is a little bit of a big deal, but like they weren't a big deal. But like the fact that they existed were a big deal. Basically, I was in Chabad the other day. So the one of the like leaders was going around and she was trying to get everyone's name, and she was like, "Oh, tell a fun fact about yourself." And I was like, "Well, so I could remember your name." I was like, "Well, I had a fan club," and it was like, "Oh, well." That's interesting. It is inherently interesting. I'm interested in it, and I'm like a big narcissist. So she's like, "Why would you have a fan club?" And I was like, "Well, I used to do stand up, and like I would like once a week or so I would tell them jokes." And she's like, "Oh, you did stand up? Can you do like 20 minutes or like 5 minutes? Sorry, not 20 minutes. Can you do 5 minutes right now?" I'm like, "What was I supposed to say? No, I'm a fraud." Right? So I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." By the way, we don't discriminate against people who can't stand up.
I just want to be clear. We don't discriminate against anybody.
That's not necessarily true.
What's your name? Gavriel Haviv. Gavriel Haviv. He's not in this call, but he does exist.
We discriminate against Jack. Jack, if you're listening to this right now, I hate you personally. You owe me like $50.
You're great, Jack. You're great.
Told them a little bit. I gave a bunch of college kids a little bit of a teaser of how laundry culture was in yeshiva. It was brutal. You guys remember that? It was absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
It was all out war. I mean, it was anarchy there. I mean, for real.
And occasionally people, mix your stuff with their stuff. Whew.
That's called stealing. They would just steal.
Dude, I'm getting sweaty. I'm sweating thinking about laundry.
The socks just disappear like in batches.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest parts of living in Israel. Not, the constant, like bomb drills or the free fireworks we get whenever just Gaza gets pissed off at us, and, Iron Dome. But just the lot, it was like a jungle out there. It was so horrible. It's, taking someone else's wet clothes out of laundry was one of the 3 sins you should rather die than commit.
It took a while. Like, it took a few minutes, but then we became friends. Like, we'd always hang out like in the library and whatnot. And he had a nickname for me, and I started growing my hair, my facial hair a little bit, but I don't know how much Thank you. In the picture, I look a little bit younger than I am. Okay.
How young? How young are we talking?
People would probably look. I like to think. I don't like to think, but I think, right? That
you don't like to think?
I don't like. No, you're not letting me finish, Davis.
That's a controversial take. Personally, I don't mean to take a stand, but I love thinking.
Davis.
Dude, thinking's overrated. Come on.
Davis.
What do you think
All right.
about that?
All right, it's 2v1. I can't handle this argument.
That's okay. Good. Anyway, so I'd think around 15, 16. Something like that, maybe. But like, no, look, I'm 19. I'm probably maybe 16, 17. I'm 19. Whatever. It is what it is. Turning 20 soon. Anyway, so he has a nickname for me. He calls me CMOC. Right? You want to guess what the C is? Do you want to
C stands for cool, and then the G stands for guy.
No, I said CMOC.
I made my own G. I'm giving you a new nickname.
Okay.
Oh. Cool.
CM. Let's figure it. Matthew, what's your guess?
MOC is the same as what you have.
MOC?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's MOC supposed to be?
Well, you said it was before biggest man on campus.
Oh, man on campus.
Yeah, there you go. So mine's
no. The MOC is the Big Mac on campus.
Okay.
Or the Big Matthew on campus.
Seiger. Get Seiger. Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Okay. So the C man on campus. C stands for youngest.
No.
Youngest man on campus.
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, so,
Big
right,
Big Matthew's head on champagne?
No, Matthew, remember, it's CMOC, right? So there's no B, there's no Matthew, right? So
Wait, there's an M.
Yep, you're right. I stopped myself. Okay.
Stop yourself after you did it.
I stopped myself after I did it, okay? It's like
Can I just, for those watching at home, by the way, he mentioned
nobody can watch this. Nobody can watch this. I don't know. You keep saying that.
We mentioned. Sorry, I didn't take my schizophrenic meds.
Okay.
What does the C stand for?
Cutest.
Cute. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't like it. I didn't love it. Okay, I didn't love it. Okay, at the end of the day, I didn't love it, but it's fine. But because it's all good. You know what I mean? It's all good. Anyway.
You know what, Gavriel? I want to change your nickname. You're the CPMOC. You're the cutest patootiest man on campus.
Right.
Aww.
No, that's not an aw. Nope. Try again.
It is an ah. Matthew, ah harder.
Seiger, try again.
Ah louder.
No. Should I give the story that I was thinking about or not?
Yeah.
I think you should give every story in your heart, because your heart is your story,
right,
and your story is my story. We're all connected.
I don't know who you are. This is basically my awesome day at the ballpark. So I was at the Mets game last year, right? Obviously,
big surprise.
No, so honestly,
28th of last year, 2019. And I went with my sister. Oh, I have to go use my shooting further, right? So the Mets were really bad last year in mid-July. And I don't want to hear anything from me. I don't want to hear any reports. Okay? The Mets were really bad. We can't say that. Anyway, the Mets were really bad last year. Before the All-Star break. And Tuesday they were and they had this one slugger named Pete Alonso. And this is a home run derby. And the Mets said that we're going to give out 10% on tickets. And for every round he advances, we're going to give out 10% more. And he ended up winning the whole thing. So we got 50% off all tickets. Anyway, so all the tickets were very cheap. So we got really, really cheap tickets for this game. And then all of a sudden the Mets got good. And the games were really important. So I got field level seats for all these sick, important games. Anyway, so I went with my sister August 28th. And we go for batting practice because it was the last day after camp. And right before the game starts, we're sitting right on the first base line. I see Ahmed Azario walking towards me. I didn't see a ball in his hand. I think he was walking to Canal, so I was thinking, that was pretty cool. I didn't see a ball in his hand, but I was basically alone. There were a few people around me, but I was the only one screaming for a ball. And I was like, Ahmed! And he has, and then I put my glove out. And then he takes the ball out and he throws it to me. And I catch it. It's like the sickest thing. You know, that's one little anecdote from the story. The second one out of three is that midway through the game, there was this player, basketball player named Tobias Harris, who was my favorite on the Clippers at one point before they traded him. Anyway, what was it? No, that's you. So in that picture, they posted on Instagram. I saw that on Bleacher Report, another app. In that picture, they saw the section that was behind that he was sitting in. So anyway, keep thinking anyway. And I was about to say it again. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh, Tobias Harris is over there. And so I'm like, is that verbatim? Maybe. Oh, yeah. I don't recall. So I told my sister, Becky, I'm going to go to see if I can get a picture with him, because I don't feel like autographs are as much of a point to them. So I go over there, I go to the section, and I'm begging the security guard to let me go through that section. And she doesn't, but it's okay, that makes total sense. But he comes up, and there are like a bunch of them. Well, not a bunch of them, so there are a few kids around, you know, because they also saw the picture. They also saw the picture, and they also saw the section. But I think I was in 107, he was in 110 or something like that. Anyway, oh gosh, I wrote it down. He comes up after a few minutes, perfect timing, and I walk up to him, like I'm the first one, I was like, Tobias, can I get a picture, please? And he's like, sure. And I give it to my phone to someone, I take a picture, and my picture was still back on my phone. Okay, and then the third thing was, I took my sister to the perfect game. Well, not national perfect game, but you don't know perfect game. No. You know what a walkout is? No. Yeah, that's what I did in my school when we protested because there was like too many shooters. No, that's a walk out. We had to walk in. It was very weird. When everyone else started to walk out. Once again, that's called a walkout. This is a walk off, right? So a walk off is when the home team is hitting last and they win the game in the last hit. And it's very exciting. And it's very exciting. And it's very exciting. And it's so exciting. So and the Mets came back. It was like a whole ordeal. And I'm just screaming. And I'm just going nuts. And like it was a big comeback. And they won the game on a walk off. And it was so exciting. And yeah, it was a great time.
And that's my story. Do you have any questions?
Those sound like great times. I have a few questions.
Okay.
So going back to the Clippers, why did they name themselves after office material?
No, it's not no. First off, a clipper is something that you cut your. That's
nails.
Maybe. Well, thank you guys for joining the Shpiel with Gavriel, starring Yehuda and Matthew, and
it's the real Shpiel.
No, it's Gavriel, and we'll talk to you next week.
Give us 50 likes, or else we won't do another one.
I don't think you can like the podcast.
Well, I like this very much, so
no, but I don't think
that's where you're wrong.
There's no like button to press. Oh, okay.
Okay, sure. You cannot physically measure the emotions I have for this, but I would rate this a 10 out of 10 experience. And the fact that you can't quantify that doesn't make my emotions any less real.
I don't think this
Mr.
is
God.
I think this is unquantifiable.
Love is real. Okay, well, fear is real. These are real emotions. Just because you can't put them in your little scientific charts. You know what? I'm anti-science now. I'm anti-science. You convinced me.